May 31st is the deadline for the legislature here in Illinois to pass an annual appropriation bill. July 1st is the next fiscal year. And if they do what the governor wanted to do in his proposal, it'd be the most expensive spending plan in state history at nearly $55 billion. That's just state funds. I try to always remind people of, listen, you pay taxes to Illinois, but you also pay taxes to the federal government. And when you include federal funds, it approaches $190 billion plus altogether. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop on the grounds at the State House when they're in session and breaking things out for you here each and every weekday morning. And I want to bring up State Representative Jed Davis. He is one of the Republican caucus members that is focused on trying to find a slimmed down version of a spending plan. So Representative, thanks for taking time with us here. Let's go ahead and get down to it. You were part of a news conference earlier this week to highlight $1 billion going out to non-government organizations. Obviously, talking with Jeannie Ives yesterday about that here on Illinois in Focus, we got a good idea of what exactly all that means. But part of that news conference earlier this week, you also talked about trying to find a slimmed down budget. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tired of being sidelined in the Illinois House. The Democrats create this budget behind closed doors. There is no cross-pollination across the theoretical aisle there in Springfield. And so it's very easy for frustration to kind of take root and just start to complain. And a lot of these complaints are valid because we are out of control in spending. And if you're the average family, like myself, my wife and my kids, and my daughter just had a baby yesterday. So
oh my gosh, congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm after session, I'm going to pop in and give the new one a hug, which will be great. But we're continuing to plant roots here in Illinois. I live in the small town America, but man, as we grow state budget, Main Street America, I'm not feeling any difference. Like, if anything, there's more burdens, more shackles of just expense, from property tax to groceries to the utility bills coming up. So how can we continually invest money into Illinois and make people's lives better, but yet we're not feeling that difference at all on the ground? And we're talking $15 billion over the course of about 7 years. So instead of just complaining, it's time to provide some solutions. So that's why I created this document, and I'm happy to jump in on it.
Yeah, and I'm looking at your website here. People can find it. Just search Jed Davis, State Representative, District 75, and you've got posted fiscal year 26 budget proposal, spend less and live better. So walk us through this. I mean, obviously, people watching this, they may have the opinion that we have a ton of wasteful spending. You say it's about 20% that could be cut?
Yeah, I really do feel there's a path there. Now, keep in mind, I'm a one-man rodeo, right? This is a frustrated state rep that wants to start providing solutions because we need leaders with spines instead of just continuing to whine. And this is going through tens of thousands of line items. I really feel there's a path that we can take about $9 billion out. Just me in my office, I can kind of identify a $4 to $5 billion low-hanging fruit of just a whole host of things. We're investing money into whole new markets, like the EV market. We're totally propping up the EV market. I have nothing against electric cars, but why is the government propping up an entire industry? Let's let the free market determine that. Just like we're not dictating where gas stations are built, it's the free market that allows that to happen. So we need to get government out of that stuff, and we're investing hundreds of millions of dollars into those things that aren't having any change to you going to the grocery store and getting a lower cost of living. And you can go through all these agencies. I mean, I went agency to agency to agency and trying to get more creative, like even the way we manage DCFS. I'm a foster parent, so I am firsthand have a lot of experience in this, and it is just a broken, very impersonal environment that is tragic of what is happening to these kids getting kind of lost at times. Why don't we engage the faith-based community and community-driven like civic organizations and partner with them? If we can bring people that are already doing this work through their own fundraising efforts and work together, which is like, why would we do that? That sounds nuts. But man, let's open the doors and have a cross-pollinated experience, and our costs in government will go down. And you just go through all of this. And this is what I'm saying. There is a path. We can take out $9 billion, and there's going to be revenue coming in. So last point, man, there's going to be revenue coming in. It's going to be hard to shut that spigot off. We're very good at collecting your money in Illinois. So it'll take some time to dial that back. So let's just give it back to the people. It's not my money. It's not your money. It is. I'm saying it's not Illinois. Me as a state rep. It's your money. My money as an individual, as a private citizen. Give it back to us. Let's send $1,500 checks back out to working families who have been crushed by inflation and other measures.
So, I mean, you're talking a difference of $55 billion, which was proposed. You're looking at something that could be slimmed down to $44 billion. Representative, sounds great, I guess, but is it doable? You guys are in the super minority at the State House, and they just ousted the appropriations chair, Democratic State Representative Fred Crespo, who for several years has been pointing out, listen, guys, you're starting all these new programs that say subject to appropriation, and we get audit findings that says these programs are by law, but they're not appropriated. It causes serious problems, especially in the last few days of legislative session when people are scrambling to get their programs funded.
Yeah, amen. And good job for Fred to have the courage to, stand up and just kind of raise the red flag. I mean, he got punished for that. He got thrown out of caucus and stripped of his committee chair. So that is just, when you propose reining in government in Springfield and spending less, you get thrown out of your own party. That is insanity and just completely unacceptable. Hats off to the Republicans. I've got no pushback. I'm filing my own, not filing, but creating and proposing my own budget path. And I've had nothing but support. So I'm very grateful for the leadership on the side of the Republican aisle in that regard. But they're not going to listen to this. They're going to create their own budget behind closed doors and just shove it down our throats in the wee hours of the morning. And who knows the ungodly tax increases that will come with that, which really concern me, because when I talk again to people door to door, it's unaffordable to live here. So I'm just tired of complaining. I want to say, here's a path. Are you willing to come to the table? Like, I'm willing to work with you. Here are some ideas. Let's sit down and have a conversation. Some of these ideas might be horrible ideas. I'm not saying these are gold, but let's have the conversation. And I know that if we can work together from far left to far right and actually work for the people of Illinois, man, everyone will win. And we can shrink government without any unnoticeable change other than more money in your pocket.
You're talking about families and individuals, but I would imagine, too, there's got to be some benefits of a slimmed down state government not overtaxing its people on the economy. Illinois has historically lagged the national economy while states around us seem to be growing quite a bit. Talk about that, how, a more lean and mean type of government, state government, what does that signal to a community outside of Illinois that might want to be investing in businesses?
Yeah, again, I don't think we should be using state money to prop up businesses. So let's get out of the way. This will blow your mind, and it's hard to even have people comprehend this, because myself, I'm like, I can't, this is insane when you sit down and think about it. 20 million words in the Illinois Administrative Code that are telling you and me, and more specifically businesses, what they can and can't do on a daily basis through regulation and red tape. 20 million words. That may be like, oh, that's no big deal. That's like a Moby Dick. I'll read it in a week. No, it would take 28 full-time weeks. So if you did nothing, 40 hours a week, for more than half a year just to read it, let alone understand it. So this is all of the regulation bearing down on Illinois, 28 work weeks just to read the 20 million words. Like, it's insane. And we wonder why businesses are leaving Illinois. Well, what in the world? You got us in a straitjacket. And that's why I proposed 3 bills earlier this year to start dialing that back. If we can get out of the way, I keep saying that, if we can get the regulation out of the way and let the free market just thrive in Illinois, we can be just a beacon of hope for the nation, because we are a state just with amazing potential, from resources in the ground to transportation conduits all over, north to south, east to west. But man, we just love to create barricades. And when you're investing, if you're a business and you're going to invest everything you've got into building into Illinois and provide jobs for people, and you're looking at 20 million words telling you what you can and can't do compared to our neighboring states, you're going to take pause. And that's why we got to knock this nonsense off.
We're talking with State Representative Jed Davis here with Illinois in Focus Daily. And budget obviously is on the minds of a lot of people in the final couple of weeks of session here. What kind of What kind of relationship do you think there's going to be between the state of Illinois' budget and any federal policies that may come down, the withholding of funds because of, be it DEI or whatever the case may be? How real of an issue is that in the states that has deficits and spending issues?
Yeah, no, I think it's very real. And it's very concerning to me because we have a president, not a president, we have a governor wanting to be president in Illinois. He's out in New Hampshire and other states just kind of thumping his chest on the national stage. You'd have to be living in a closet somewhere to not realize that he's grandstanding for an eventual president. Now you're starting to engage in warfare, political warfare in words from the podiums, just really antagonizing the federal government. And they're not messing around. You can see the suits that have been filed and some of the things they've done in Maine. And I just read another one this morning. I forget what state it was, but they're saying, we're here to help. We're here to help, and we want to get the dollars into the pockets of the people who need it. Everyone's freaking out about Medicaid cuts and all this stuff, but there's a lot of waste in there of people on those rolls that the system wasn't designed to support. Man, if you need it, we want to get that money to you so you can provide for your livelihood and your families, your children, your aging parents. Like, let's make the system be what it was designed to be instead of just puffing up our chest and really pushing back. And now you're starting to kind of poke a bear that I don't think should poke, because all of a sudden, if we lose funding because we're trying to grandstand for a presidential run instead of caring about the people of Illinois, we're in a world of hurt, and you're going to see us in session over the summer, which is really going to be just aggravating because it's a problem that the governor would have intentionally created.
Representative, finally here, how many terms have you been in? 2, 3?
This is just my second. So
this is just your second. Okay. All right. Yeah. So in those 4 years here, or going on now 3 years, I guess, walk people through how frustrating it is in the final hours to get this 3,000 plus page budget with the accompanying budget implementation bill, and then you're in a committee and getting ready to vote on it within an hour and a half. It's 11 o'clock in the then turns into 2 o'clock in the morning, and what does that do to you? What does that do to your staff? And how do you think your taxpayers feel that they're being treated?
It's stupid. And they don't know. Illinois doesn't know. Like, Springfield's very good at just kind of keeping all of this nonsense behind closed doors and not communicating it back to the people. When I got down here, I could not believe the way that we govern in Illinois. It is so beneath the electorate that if they really knew, I don't care if you're blue or red or an independent voter, if you really knew, you'd be like, wait, time out. This isn't right. This isn't how Illinois should be governed. So they're going to talk about reading 20 million words. They're going to cram a really thick document full of spending, bloated spending, that's going to raise your cost of living more than it already is through the wee hours of the morning without any time for anyone to have any real conversation on it. And this summer, to try to drive that point home as a visual, I'm going to print out the budget. I'm going to say, sorry for wasting the paper, but I need to show constituents exactly what we're talking about. I'm going to put it on a pedestal right in the front of my office. Come in and see it. And hey, we can take the glass off and you can thumb through it and look at it. And guess what? You've got 3 hours to read it and tell me what you would and wouldn't support in it. Like, that is how we're doing it in Springfield. And the crazy thing is, even on the Democrat side of the aisle, there's only a handful of people there that are in the know. So there is just a handful of people calculating your cost of living to go through the roof, leaving everyone else out. So we're leaving millions of voters out of this process because we silence everyone else, cram it through so there can be no opposition, go home and don't ever talk about it, other than making speeches on the campaign trail of we're here for you, when it's complete nonsense because they betrayed you down in the chamber.
And there's going to be a lot of ribbon cuttings and such, I imagine, as well over the summer. That is, if they don't have to come back and scramble because of the loss of federal funds, potentially. State Representative Jed Davis, greatly appreciate you being here with us. We'll see you at the Capitol here in, after a couple of segments, I'm going to be heading that way myself. So we'll see you out there for today. You guys are back next week, and then it's going to be a interesting couple of weeks there. So appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Thank you so much.
All right. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus Daily. All right. So make it happen. Get that newsletter and be part of the program. And the live chat's always lively. If you're able to get in there early in the mornings, check it out. the Center Square here on YouTube.